We are thankfully about to reach the end of international break number 1 in this season's EFL Championship. Always a good time to take stock. Perhaps you can tell me in the comments who has impressed you so far this season, given what we knew coming in, expectations, narratives, changes around all of the Championship clubs. I discussed this very topic on the Sportsman Untitled Podcast yesterday with Simon Lillibury and Conor McGilligan. We're going to run a little clip of that. You might like it if you're a Borough, a West Brom, or a Bristol City fan indeed. And I will link the full conversation up there at the end of the clip.
As always with these international breaks, we like to kind of take stock of what we've seen so far. So we're going to have a look at a few categories in the Championship. And Conor, I want to come to you and get your biggest winners of the Championship so far. We're only 4 games in, but who have you liked?
Yeah, I've really liked Borough. I think when you're looking at it from back to front, they've kept, I believe it's 3 clean sheets, isn't it? They look strong. They've actually Opta had them at the toughest start as well this season.
Someone said they'd lose their first 4 games.
Oh, did you?
Somehow I'm still on the show.
Go on, Simon.
Get him on.
Sorry, Rob Edwards. I didn't mean it.
But it is, isn't it? None of us knew what this transition would be like with Rob Edwards coming into it. We were speaking beforehand of going from a Carrick system to a Rob Edwards system. He had to find not only that. They didn't just have to find that systematic change. They had to find players that would fit into that. Your Matt Targett and your Callum Britton will aid that, of course. But it was the Rob Edwards effect, wasn't it? Was he going to have that mojo back? Was he going to get back to, sort of motivated Rob Edwards? And it feels like he's back to that. I looked at a couple of interviews before coming in on I think it was Borough TV. Big smile on his face, and he looks like he's ready to hit the ground running again. Obviously after the international break, they've had a tough start, a really good window for me. I think Alan Brown, we're talking a little bit beforehand. I think that's a really good addition. Back end of the season, Calisan as well looks quick. So we'll wait and see how that one plans out as well. And obviously Strat, like we've mentioned, Naipan. It looks like they've had a really good window when it comes to recruitment, and I think that midfield of Hackney and Aidan Morris,
Very good, very good.
is probably the best they've had since Ledbetter and Adam Clayton. And I would argue that the 2 that they've got now in Hackney and Morris are better because they're better going forward. Keeping hold of Aidan Hackney is absolutely massive, and Aidan Morris had a brilliant start as well. So they've got a lot of what I think could do really well this season.
Circus coming back for Hackney in January.
The Ipswich Circus, or
that ship has sailed. I'm talking about the Tottenham or West Ham or whoever. Someone will come for him, won't they? Again, surely.
It's panic stations, isn't it? It's what happens at that stage of which
he's
maybe
playing very well as well, isn't he?
Injuries, and he can make the step up. Hackney can make the step up. I think Morris can make the step up as well. They've got a lot of potential in that team.
It's almost where Borough are in the league table if we get to January at that point. If they're in the top 6 or first and second, he's probably just going to stay put, isn't he?
What can you reject though? If big clubs coming in with massive money, what can you?
But if you're Steve Gibson and you can see the promotion and we're talking nearly 200 million now. If you add your 2 years parachute payments onto you, and you're the close to the line, it's going to be no.
I mean, how much did Ipswich put in for him? Was it 18-20 million?
It was going up to something
I wonder what the limit would be, where he'd think to himself, "Nah, I can't turn this down." I wonder what that would be.
See.
If promotion was on the horizon.
The other point to make on Borough, by the way, is not just Rob Edwards' kind of back 3, which you saw at Forest Green Rovers working well, but the impact that Adi Vivash has had there as assistant manager. He did a job basically tactically at Borough in the playoffs to take Coventry to the playoff final with a back 3. You mentioned 3 clean sheets already. I think it's all working quite nicely there in terms of behind the scenes as well. Ben, for you, biggest winners so far, please.
Well, look, you can't. It's annoying because we're just going for the top 2, but you can't ignore West Brom, given that we knew nothing of Ryan Mason as a manager, of being in charge of a team, and I've had some gentle ribbing from West Brom fans of being an Ipswich fan here. Oh, thanks, you taken our back 4 from a couple of years ago and given us some money, and we've buffed all that up now with Phillips has been playing well, hasn't he? Campbell moved across to right back, didn't he? I wonder how keenly they'll feel the loss of Fellows, who's an excellent player. And I thought 10 million was a good deal that for Southampton, but great start for West Brom. I think we're going to come on to Bristol City, but that was one I did think, what happens after a team punches above their weight, gets in the playoffs, and the manager goes, best players go, nosedive. Nope. Started well.
It's almost like I wrote down, didn't I? But continuity for the teams in the top half. I think we've got Leicester and Birmingham. The rest of the top half are all teams that are in the Championship last season, and teams like Coventry, Portsmouth are in and around it. Preston as well, a bit of a change, but same manager. It's almost like continuity is winning the early stage of the season, Conor.
Yeah, it feels like that. I mean, yeah, obviously the outlier. I mean, I've just been waxing lyrical about Borough, haven't I? And I guess there's a bit of an outlier there when it comes to Edwards coming in and
four of
the
top 6 have got new managers, but then you can argue there's continuity in the squad.
That's why,
There you go. Yeah.
They're not in the top 10 transfers where it's been Southampton, Ipswich, Birmingham, Wrexham. It's almost like steady on, especially with Bristol City.
And you've just
steady. You've changed the manager.
Yeah.
But the players are still there, and not much has changed to stop them getting results.
I think the impressive thing about Bristol City is, and we don't want to go too far down that road, but it's the change of system as well, the change of manager.
Yeah.
Look at Gerhard Struber in comparison to a Liam Manning. It's completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different. Man orientation, press, whereas Manning is it's a slowish build-up, isn't it? It's trying to find the pockets. It's heavy possession base. So the fact that they've adapted to that's been
I still think they're benefiting from the fact that when you looked at the numbers last year, it wasn't funneled through like 1 or 2 players that would obviously just be the sum of the parts, and then Mehmeti and Twine both start the season well. You keep Jason Knight, you add your Preston. I still find it strange you can have a team that draws 0-0 and wins 4-2 in the first 4 games. I'm struggling to get my head around that. But we said Struber was going to be fun. Struber is fun.
Absolutely. I think one of the notable points as well of the Championship this season is that these continuity teams, let's call them that, the teams that weren't relegated or promoted, have kept hold of some of the best players in the Championship. We talk about Hackney at Borough. We talk about Josh Sargent staying at Norwich. We talk about Rodoni staying at Cov. These players can be some of the best players in the league, and for me it just opens the door to a wide range of possibilities of what they could achieve there.
Well, and it makes a mockery again of the parachute payment system, because if you look, the teams that have sold their better players are the teams with parachute payments, and a Hackney and a Sargent and a Rodoni, none of those teams are in the position that an Ipswich and a Southampton and a Leicester and Sheffield United. I don't know if they've kept Hamer, but we've seen the other 2 lads who we thought were going to go. So I'm hoping this is a step towards stability for the clubs that are in the Championship, but obviously the ridiculous churn of the parachute teams has not changed. But truth will always out on the pitch, and if these teams starting to go above them and score more points than them, then hopefully we'll get some sanity. I can dream.
It's almost what Ben touched upon earlier, though. If it's not worth selling a Josh Sargent for 10 to 15 million when he is going to take you so much closer to the big 200 million prize of promotion, is it?
Yeah, I guess with Norwich you see Marcelino Nunes going, and you think maybe that is the Josh Sargent.
Sainz
as well, got a Porto, didn't they? So yeah, maybe that is the replacement. Who knows in terms of monetary input, but yeah, keeping hold of Sargent and bringing in Kvisgaard. I think everyone thought that Kvisgaard was going to come in from Bromby and Sargent was then going to go, and it made a lot of sense, didn't it? But I know it sounds ridiculous, but there's been a lot of noise about Hadji Wright at the beginning of the season, hasn't there? In terms of Rodoni saying, can you get Hadji Wright in his favoured position, fit week in, week out? Just speaking about those teams in particular, Kvisgaard coming in and being there with Sargent as well, and then Borough developing, having a brilliant window as well. Like Ben said, hopefully it's becoming a little bit more of an equal playing field. We're just speaking a little bit off air there as well about Ipswich having 14 exits and 11 incoming. Maybe the recently relegated teams are going to struggle a bit this season, who knows?